Yveltal is like a really strong core. You got so many speed options with Trick Room, Tailwind. You can slow the pace down by starting off with Snarls. Yveltal can be really aggressive, stuff like that. I really do like the core, and then it's paired with 2 Fake Out users.
Yes.
And of course we got a Gengar as well.
Yeah, Gengar, the Mega Gengar, that Pokemon that's been everywhere at the moment. And again, another one that is very harmonious to Wolfe Glick and his reputation. But Yveltal was just really expertly showcased by Alessio in the previous game to show how strong it is. And I think if he can work around maybe some of the Pokemon on Eric's side with the Xerneas and the Tapu Fini, it might be a good sort of choice to have in here just to start whittling away at the Groudon with, say, a Foul Play or something like that. And as I can't see any Tapu Lele, you'll be free to maybe get some Sucker Punches off that could be crucial against that Gengar.
Yeah, I do think that Groudon and Xerneas still got a better matchup against Kyogre and Yveltal, obviously because both restricted Pokemon can switch in on the opponent Pokemon, and both got a way to position the field with the Mega Gengar. But Eric still got some more tricks to pull off, and that Tapu Fini is also really strong. It can come in on Kyogre, it can come in on Yveltal, it can come in on Incineroar, it can come in on Bronzong, and even on Togedemaru. And the only strong hit that can hit it is like a Gengar
with a Sludge Bomb or something like that.
Maybe the Kyogre got Thunder or something.
That's true.
But this is going to be a long way to whistle that one down.
It's going to be a really intense game, and I feel like ball positioning is going to be so key. You need to make sure you've got the right weather, the right speed control, and make sure that you don't lose a Pokemon too early, that in the endgame situation you are really going to need to be able to take down some of your opponent's other Pokemon. We saw that a lot in Jamie Boyd's game where he lost his Kyogre and then there was nothing for the Groudon, and you don't want to be in that devastating situation where you can't see a way out, you can't see a way into that Game 2, Game 3 situation. So ball positioning is going to be a masterclass in that, I think, Sebi.
Yeah, and it's really, really tough to position your board and not taking too much damage in the meantime in this format especially, and you don't want to take too much damage and too much like status drops, like if you get Snarl too much or Icy Wind too much, you don't bring yourself in a good position, and this is where it all ends up. But let's see how this works out. We got the team preview again for you guys. Wolfe is playing obviously Yveltal, Incineroar, Togedemaru, Gengar, Kyogre and Bronzong.
And Eric has got the Gengar, Tapu Fini, Landorus Therian Form, the Xerneas, Groudon, and the Incineroar as well. So lots of Intimidate on Eric's side as well. You've got Landorus, you've got Incineroar. So looking at sort of Wolfe's team from that perspective, the Gengar and the Kyogre really don't mind taking those Intimidates, and particularly Kyogre can deal back some really good damage against both these Pokemon. Even if the sun is up, Ice Beam is still going to hit that Landorus pretty hard. And as it's a Pokemon that we have seen holding that Groundian Z item so that it can use the Tectonic Rage, that's something that Gengar, Incineroar, even Kyogre doesn't really want to be taking.
Right. And I can imagine if it's really the same team that this Tapu Fini is having like gravity, just to make sure to hit every Pokemon with ground type moves. I do not think Eric is going for the really aggressive Landorus Therian theme of this team. I guess he's just sticking with Tapu Fini. Both of his restricted Pokemon are really doing good in this matchup.
Yeah, they're very strong.
And he may put some fake up pressure on the line there.
Exactly, that's Tapu Fini. Always a bit of a mystery. We've said a lot. It's the support Pokemon of choice at the moment. So it's going to be interesting to see what ones it's got. But Sebi, there is a Togedemaru. Togedemaru is on the stream right now. Wolfe Glick has got Togedemaru with the Kyogre, the Primal Kyogre there, as Eric has got the Gengar and the Incineroar. My dreams have been answered. I'm very happy.
Look, that's why Wolfe got world champ. He knows that he has to bring that Togedemaru, and he's straight up leading off with it. And Eric tries to make what Mega Gengar does best, trap Pokemon in as soon as possible.
Yes.
Like this is why people tend to start with it next to a fake out user. Just do the protect, get the shadow tag off, because on the first turn you can still switch out once. Wolfe could decide to, I don't like this ball, I'm gonna go away with it. And this is why usually Gengars just stay in, protect, substitute the first turn, make use with fake out, or just go up straight for a U-turn to answer a potential switch, which was now happening, and Wolfe goes into Incineroar.
Yeah, brings in Incineroar, and I really like that play, getting your Kyogre out so that your weather isn't going to be forced to stay in, leaving Eric free to bring in his Groudon and sort of trap you in a little bit. Togedemaru staying on the field, though, will have the potential to go for a fake out into the opposing Incineroar. Of course, you cannot fake out the Gengar being a ghost type. And the other benefit Togedemaru has here is it doesn't have to worry about any sludge bombs from the opposing Gengar, thanks to it being a Steel-type Pokemon. But the Incineroar is going to have to take the Sludge Bomb, though, as Togedemaru goes for a Nuzzle straight into that Gengar, going to paralyze it and bring its speed right down, so making it a lot slower, a bigger threat to deal with. With the paralysis as well, there's a chance that Gengar may not even be able to move.
It may not be. Yeah, no, that was a really clever play by Wolfe. He was like, if you go for the offensive route, I'm not gonna get the paralysis on Gengar. And now, even the Incineroar might be faster than the Gengar, and this is why Eric decides to switch it out.
Yeah, it brings in that Tapu Fini, a good Pokemon choice, bringing in the Misty Terrain so that Wolfe cannot get up to any more Nuzzle shenanigans for those grounded Pokemon, as of course Misty Terrain stops any status afflictions being activated. But Togedemaru wises the tricks, goes for a Super Fang into the Incineroar, will do 50% damage to the Pokemon, as the Incineroar on Wolfe's side doubles into the Incineroar on Eric's side and goes for a U-turn. So just wants to switch it out, which is a great move choice when you were facing down against that Gengar, for example, trapped in. You now give yourself the momentum to bring in another Pokemon.
And this is what Wolfe is known about, like getting yourself a better position on the board. And that's why I bet he loves U-turn. No eject button on this, but he brought Bronzong to the board, which is now entering the field.
Yeah, two Steel types on the field there for Wolfe. U-turn coming out from the opposing Incineroar as well. This could give Eric the opportunity to maybe bring the Gengar back in and try and trap down these Steel type Pokemon, but if I was him, I'd want to get something in that's going to start maybe dealing some damage like the Groudon, just to be using some Fire-type moves against it, just to alleviate them from the field, because Bronzong can be another Pokemon that causes a lot of issues. It has a lot of tricks up its sleeve as well.
So I see where the game plan is heading to. Wolfe obviously wants to set up Trick Room to be able to skill swap his weather again, and to make sure that Kyogre is getting off those big water-type attacks, let it be Water Spout or Rich Impulse. And Eric is trying to avoid that, and he brought in Tapu Fini and Groudon, and if it is one of those gravity Tapu Finis, this might be crucial in this, because Wolfe really wants to get up Trick Room, I guess, to move first and to get the big knockouts. He still has to take out the Tapu Fini somehow. It's a really bulky one, I guess. So Eric brought himself in a good position by being the last one who U-turned out.
Of course, and if that Bronzong does have Levitate's ability, Gravity's obviously going to bring it right down to the ground, meaning it will be able to be affected by something like the Precipice Blades. Togedemaru just going to come right back to Wolfe, just wants to keep that Pokemon safe from any potentials of Precipice Blades coming out from the opposing Groudon. Maybe even bringing back in his Kyogre to get the rain up, stop any Fire-type moves coming out, but no, instead it's going to be the Incineroar, so next turn you can maybe get Fake Out off, and obviously intimidating that Groudon is going to really help out that Bronzong if it wants to survive.
This is what he wanted with this. He wanted to make sure that this Bronzong is able to stand that move, and there we see the gravity from Tapu Fini, which moves before Groudon, and Groudon is now getting off strong attacks, and let's see if it's enough.
How much does it do? Bronzong is able to survive. Incineroar valiantly does let itself be KO'd. It got the Intimidate off. That's what Wolfe needed it to do as Bronzong goes for the Trick Room. And the fact that Incineroar's also been KO'd now leaves Wolfe free to bring in that Kyogre.
Really clever play. And he's still got Fake Up pressure in the back.
Yes.
So this is like a good position for Wolfe. He now got all the Trick Room turns to play with and to deal out damage and damage and damage. And Tapu Fini, this is the only thing he has to take care of. Like, how do I get rid of Tapu Fini? This might be one key for Eric, just to have that.
Exactly. Tapu Fini is going to cause Wolfe a little bit of problems here. The Kyogre can't really do too much damage unless it is packing something like Thunder, like you mentioned, Sebi.
Yeah, maybe. It may be, but it cannot use Thunder and Water Spout in the same turn, right?
No, that's very true. You want to try and get rid of that Groudon, or if Groudon's forced to switch out, whatever's going to come in, looking at the Pokemon in the back, you've either got Incineroar or Gengar. Neither of them are going to want to take a full HP Water Spout. Bronzong does have access to Gyro Ball. So that could potentially be a good one to go against Tapu Fini with. We've already seen that it is slightly faster than the Groudon, so that it could get the gravity up. So potentially that will help out Wolfe a little bit. The Groudon goes for a Protect though on Eric's side, as Bronzong does indeed go for that Gyro Ball.
And this was a really clever play by Eric, keeping that Groudon in and protect him, because he knew if I switch in Incineroar or Gengar, those are going down, and he just stalls out one more turn of Trick Room by just staying in, protecting. Tapu Fini obviously going for the Nature Madness here, just to get half of Kyogre's HP down, to slowly whittle down the water spout power it packs. And this was a really clever play. Now he can switch out. And
exactly, you can switch out, and as Kyogre now only has 50% HP, Water Spout's not going to be the most damage dealing move, but if it does have access to Origin Pulse, for example, you won't even have to worry about the accuracy check, as Tapu Fini set up the gravity. So it's still going to be dealing a heavy hit in the rain. Groudon can't reset the weather at the moment, so either way, Eric's Pokemon are going to be taking a huge amount of water damage if it does go for the Origin Pulse.
It surely does, and that Gengar is probably the one he wants to trade off, because Eric wants to preserve that fake out pressure once more. Well, let's have a look. Groudon is going... no, the Incineroar is actually coming in.
No, bringing in the Incineroar, maybe thinking that he needs the Gengar late game to try and trap in the Pokemon and keep the weather on his side. Intimidate only really going to be affecting the Bronzong here on Wolf's side of the field, as it does go for another Gyro Ball. So just taking a little bit of chip, this time into the Incineroar. Is it enough to proc any berry? No, it's not, as Kyogre does go for that Origin Pulse. This is easily going to pick up the KO against that opposing Incineroar, and Tapu Fini, having its health dwindle down as far as it had, will all be KO'd as well, leaving Eric just with the Gengar and the Groudon.
Yeah, and now there is no fake out pressure coming from Eric's side, so Wolfe is pretty free if that Bronzong packs a skill swap to set his own weather up again, and on the same hand, give that Kyogre a really nifty levitate.
That would be amazing. You know, Bronzong really has kind of come back from Wolfe. And maybe he was having an off day yesterday, just wasn't his kind of day. But here in day 2, he's been so strong, setting up the Trick Room, getting those Gyro Balls off. And of course, if he does have Skill Swap, he's going to be able to reset this weather. And as we've seen already, Gengar... Oh, actually, that said, Gengar's paralyzed. I was about to say it's a very fast Pokemon, doesn't like Trick Room, but potentially...
This might be interesting. Like, who moves first in Trick Room?
Yes.
Is it Gengar? Is it Kyogre? What can Gengar do to avoid the knockouts on Groudon and Gengar by themselves? And Gengar straight up goes for the Protect, not showing how fast it is. So does Groudon. And Wolfe is pretty free to set up, the skill swap. There you go.
Goes straight for the skill swap. Of course, Eric probably figuring that was going to be the play and just goes for the double protect there. Just wants to use up the turns of Trick Room here, as the Primordial Seed does, of course, come back onto the field. Kyogre once again going for the Origin Pulse into 2 protects. No damage going about in this turn, but it looks like Wolfe has really put himself into a great position here. Misty Terrain going to leave the field though, so potentially Gengar, if it wants to go for a Sludge Bomb, could now get the poison on the Kyogre, but it's got to be able to survive to get itself into that position.
Yeah, well, Wolfe played it like really perfectly. On paper, he got a really hot matchup, but he knew like, when I can set up the Bronzong and Trick Room mode, I can win this by skill swapping and dealing out damage. And it helped that Eric didn't bring the Xerneas. Obviously, Wolfe got 2 Steel types and an Incineroar just to he got loads of fake up pressure, loads of Steel types, and that Kyogre even threatens a boosted Xerneas with a full power Water Spout.
Exactly, he really came prepared to face down against that Xerneas, and even though he hasn't faced it, the team composition that he's brought to this game has easily been able to be utilized to put himself into this Trick Room environment. You can see him shaking his head there though a little bit. He took a lot of time coming down to that decision. Gengar does get the double protect. Wolfe doesn't look too happy about it. Groudon, however, does not. So Bronzong going for the Gyro Ball into the protect of Gengar, not going to be dealing any damage, but the Origin Pulse, I think, is the crucial one that he wanted to get.
This is the one he wanted to get, and now Eric is down to 1 Pokemon, which is a paralyzed Mega Gengar. And Wolfe is looking pretty good in this one. So this sealed up, Trick Room's over, Gravity's over.
He's just put himself into a fantastic endgame position. Again, Gengar can't really do too much to both these Pokemon at the same time. So even if he wants to target down the Kyogre, Bronzong's just going to be able to keep whittling away at it with some Gyro Balls and vice versa with some Water type attacks. Kyogre actually going for the Water Spout, just wants to go for the accuracy. Gengar, not the bulkiest of Pokemon either, so even a 50% water spout is enough in the rain.
Yeah.
And Gengar will go back to Eric, so Wolfe manages to come back and take a dominating game 1 here.
Yeah, this is I like those Wolfe matches where you don't see his game plan until he reveals it.
Exactly, it's all piece by piece, and he's like the master who knows where all the pieces are fitting into the puzzle. And he brought Togedemaru. Like that was
for
absolutely amazing. But you know, as much as I can sort of get excited about the Pokemon, it was still very, very critical in that game. You had the fake out pressure at the beginning as well, but the Nuzzle, just trying to lower some of the speeds of your opposing Pokemon, maybe whittle away at their health points a little bit, was really, really critical. And of course, it couldn't be affected by any poison type attacks from the opposing Gengar. But I think sort of the hero of that game was the Incineroar. That he just switched in, got that Intimidate that allowed Bronzong to set up the Trick Room. Yeah,
this was really crucial. Like on paper, and we discussed it before, Togedemaru doesn't look like it got the best matchup in this.
No.
But it helped Wolfe a lot in repositioning and in getting off that fake up pressure. It's like really crucial, and he likes playing with 2 fake out users and being able to swap around the fake out users. Like we've seen the U-turn from Togedemaru, we've seen the U-turn on Incineroar. That's like really
he likes being flexible.
Yeah.
So that no matter what's thrown his way, he can always adapt to it. And I think that's what I love so much about the Nuzzle play, was he forced Eric to have to rethink his strategy a little bit. When you've got a Gengar that's been slowed down to the extent that Paralysis does, you don't have that security anymore. Gengar's quite a frail Pokemon. You want to make sure that you're outspeeding, dealing damage, and picking up those KOs before you're given any damage back in return. And it just puts you on that back foot a little bit, and you could see him switch out very early on after the Paralysis. But game 2 here in the final round of Swiss is very, very tense at the moment. There's so much for these players to play for. They're both at X and 3 records. Something I don't think we touched on too much at the beginning. So this really does matter. They need to make sure that they win this game to put themselves into the chance of getting through to Top Cut, which we're featuring later today. But right now, Togedemaru's back on the screen, Sebi, so we need to focus down on this game 2. Togedemaru with Kyogre against the Tapu Fini, and was that the Xerneas?
That is the Xerneas. Eric is changing up the plan, bringing Tapu Fini right in, just to make sure that Togedemaru cannot Nuzzle, and to help some setups. He may want to opt for some Nature Madness as soon as possible. To not let Kyogre Water Spout for free, and the Xerneas there might be some key to victory. It might not need a boost, it might just be enough to chip and chip and chip that really strong damage boosted by Fairy Aura.
Yes, we've seen that a few times where there's no Geomancy boost, it's just Dazzling Gleam, just get some chip, so that maybe if we get the speed up later on, we're able to sort of take this out. But Xerneas is actually just going to leave the field straight away and replaced with the Groudon, going to stop any water-type moves coming out onto the field. I think that's quite a good play from Eric in the sense Togedemaru is not going to be doing any Nuzzling. It can go for a Fake Out, stop the Geomancy, so Fake Out, Groudon doesn't really mind sort of switching into that. But the crucial Pokemon here, I think, is going to be the Tapu Fini. Is they're going to go for an Icy Wind to make sure this Kyogre is going to be slower than the Groudon. Or, you know, it could even go for some really crazy shenanigans, set up a Swagger, or just get the gravity up so that the Groudon can go straight away and start picking up KOs, particularly when Bronzong switches in. And
this is going to be really interesting. I was hoping for a U-turn from the Togedemaru. Get up the range straight away, but we are seeing a Super Fang into Groudon, and Tapu Fini is setting up the gravity. This is really interesting now, as we know that Bronzong has a hard time taking those moves, and now Tapu Fini got a spare turn because it already set up gravity.
Exactly.
It might just Nature Madness the Bronzong slot.
Exactly, because even if we'll switch in the Incineroar, we've seen that the Bronzong can then take a Precipice Blades from the Groudon, but not if it's already at 50% damage. So with the gravity up as well, you don't even have to worry about Nature's Madness potentially missing. Incineroar is going to switch in, but for the Bronzong slot instead of the Togedemaru, this is still going to really, really hurt though if it's Precipice Blades coming out.
Yeah, Wolfe knows he needs Bronzong. He needs Bronzong to win this matchup, and Togedemaru uses U-turn going out. He still got Fake Out pressure on the ball, but let's see. I really like the setup Eric was doing, like gravity plus Groudon switch in was an amazing play, a really safe play as well. If Wolfe went for the U-turn, he might have changed some things, but this way, really good play.
See, I like this play as well from Wolfe bringing in the Kyogre. If it's able to survive the Precipice Blades from the Groudon going into the next turn, it could potentially potentially scare it off the field. If Incineroar goes down, as it very likely is to Nature's Madness and Precipice Blades, it gives Wolfe the opportunity to bring the Bronzong back in, and he's got the Kyogre there to now threaten going into the next couple of turns. Precipice Blade does come out. Of course, we'll pick up the KO against that Incineroar that once again sacrificed itself for the sake of an Intimidate, but that could be critical going into the rest of Wolfe's game.
Yeah, Wolfe still got some chances here. If he manages to set up the Trick Room and get off the Origin Pulses, this might be really good for Wolfe. But Bronzongs usually tend to not run Protect. So if Eric decides to start trading Pokemon now, this might be his key to victory. He's still got at least the Xerneas in the back, which he can make use of and deal some damage. And we haven't seen his fourth Pokemon yet, so...
No, it's still to be revealed. And you sort of say he's just got a Xerneas in the back. Yeah. Xerneas is a pretty good Pokemon to have in the back, particularly if you're maybe trading the Bronzong away, which is a Pokemon Xerneas is quite scared to face against.
Yeah. And Wolfe is switching out the Bronzong and bringing the Togedemaru back in.
Our little Togedemaru back on the field as Tapu Fini goes for another Nature's Madness, likely targeting down that Kyogre, just such a big threat to his team, just wants to get more damage off as Groudon does go for the Precipice Blades. Of course, taking that Nature's Madness again means the bulky Kyogre is, I was about to say, is very likely to be KO'd, but no, just surviving. Poor Togedemaru, though, is going to shoot back to Wolfe as Kyogre is able to go for an Origin Pulse, helped out by the gravity. Don't have to worry about missing any of those moves. Groudon will be KO'd, so when you're talking about trading off Pokemon, you traded away Togedemaru, but you did take down a Groudon as well. So I think that was worthwhile, Wolfe.
That was worthwhile. But still, Wolfe is kind of on the back foot on this one. He wants to set up Trick Room, and then later on he needs to hit every Origin Pulse and not get his Kyogre even touched. He only got 3 HP left, and this is where Xerneas enters the field.
Exactly. Bronzong, it's a really great Pokemon, particularly against Xerneas, and has some good damage against Tapu Fini, but it can't carry the whole team by itself. So you do need to make sure your Kyogre does stay safe, maybe go for a Protect now, and try and get that Trick Room up. You do still have to worry about the Xerneas and Tapu Fini in case there's anything they want to do, and the Pokemon in the back as well. It's going to be the Incineroar firing off the Intimidate. Isn't going to be able to stop Trick Room this turn if that's what he's going for. Going into the next turn, if Kyogre protects, he's maybe not going to have that. So essentially, you're locking down the Kyogre now. Yeah,
definitely. Even though Tapu Fini doesn't look like threatened by Kyogre and Bronzong, was again a really clever play by Eric just to bring in the Fake Out, because Kyogre protected now. It has to go for a double Protect to even withstand the Fake Out, and even then if he gets it, there is no offensive pressure with what he could take out that Incineroar, and really clever play, really wisely played.
I love this play as well. So revealing the Psychium Z on the Bronzong, going for a Z Trick Room, just in case that Tapu Fini maybe had something like Taunt up its sleeve. If it's the Z move, it sort of bypasses that, so no matter what happened, Wolfe was guaranteeing himself Trick Room. The problem he's got now is, like you said, Sebi, he has got to get a double Protect. The Fake Out from the Incineroar will just easily pick up the KO, and then Bronzong, yes, it can do well against Xerneas and Tapu Fini. Not so much against Incineroar, particularly if Kyogre goes down and removes the weather. Then it's going to be really exposed. But he does get the double Protect on that Kyogre.
Just got it. And let's see what Xerneas is going for, and if it can stand a Gyro Ball from Bronzong.
I mean, Bronzong has been intimidated as well, but Gyro Ball going into the opposing Xerneas isn't enough to be a 2-hit KO, as Xerneas does go for a Dazzling Gleam. But if Kyogre is able to maybe get off the Origin Pulse combined with the Gyro Ball, that's going to be some really big damage.
Oh, that did no damage at all. Look at this. Well, Wolfe is still playing for his outs if he manages to take out Incineroar and Xerneas in one hit. I don't know if Tapu Fini is threatening Bronzong as much as Bronzong is threatening Tapu Fini, but maybe Eric wants to preserve some Pokemon like Xerneas later on, and he's going to switch in Tapu Fini instead.
Exactly, Tapu Fini with Nature's Madness, it's really great when the Pokemon has a lot of HP, you can really help out your partner, but when it's sort of your only main attacking move on there, it can be a little bit of a struggle. But there was another Protect just then from the Kyogre.
That was a third Protect in a row.
And
get that Trick Room up, and with that, the U-turn went nowhere, so Incineroar had to stay on the field, which is really, really interesting.
Yeah, and the Bronzong's now changed Trick Room around, so we're back in a normal playing field at the moment. But that Kyogre just really, really holding on, does not want to be counted out of the Swiss round 14 game at all. But we're now in a situation where Eric had got his Xerneas off the field that would have probably looked at, like in a really great position. It's now jumping right back on, but will potentially have to take some kind of damage from this Kyogre.
Yeah, and Wolfe is just trying to see. No, there you go.
Tapu Fini going first.
Probably enough to take out the Kyogre, yeah. And that is...
That's one really speedy Tapu Fini. I mean, we've seen it use the gravity before it's Groudon, but as well, I think that's just really helped out Eric, making sure that he's kept it to the end game situation, which I think has really benefited him. You could have maybe sort of stacked the Tapu Fini, we were saying, to preserve Pokemon like the Xerneas, but I think keeping it right to the end so that it can still support whatever Pokemon you have remaining has been a really, really great play. Of course, Bronzong does do a huge amount of damage to Xerneas, but ultimately he's not going to be able to take this one, I don't think. You can see the forfeit coming up there. Yep, and so Wolfe unfortunately forfeits this one game here, and we're going to a game 3, Sebi.
Yeah, lucky for us.
Yeah, always love a game 3, particularly in these really high impacting games. The quality of play is so intense, and we want to bring you guys as much action as possible, but Eric really kept his cool during that. Wolfe looked in such a good position at the beginning as well, going for the same strategy, but the one thing I loved was Eric's adaptation from game 1 to game 2, where he got the gravity up in the same turn as getting in the Groudon, so he didn't have to waste any extra energy there and made Wolfe go on the back foot the way that Wolfe had made him go on the back foot in the first game.
Yeah, Wolfe actually played it like a champ. He played for his outs, but after the gravity and the nature's madness, it was kind of over. He had to give away too much to just half a shot left at winning this game, and this is what Eric played like really well, preserving the right Pokemon, getting off some fake up pressure, and I've never seen a situation like that where you have to go for a double protect not to get faked out.
No, exactly. It was just very, very masterful of Eric to kind of pin down Wolfe, always making sure that he had to react to what Eric was doing. And Wolfe couldn't really get his strategy up the way he wanted to. The Z Trick Room was, you know, a very good safe play. Good information for Eric as well to know the item on that opposing Bronzong, so knowing if he does have Taunt maybe throughout his team, that's not really an option he can go for. He can still get the Trick Room up, but Eric did a really good way of sort of denying it to him, getting rid of a lot of the threats that he had and making sure that his Xerneas was safe and protect so that he could bring it into that end game situation. We've seen that a lot with Xerneas. Like, a lot of people are very happy to click their Geomancy and get it up, but we've seen a lot of people leaving it to the end or not even Geomancing at all.
Yeah, that's what makes Xerneas like really great. It's just so threatening on its own, and people want to like double up to just keep away that Geomancy coming, and you can make use of that by just going for protect or straight up attacking. And we do see in Mega Gengar and Incineroar lead from Wolfe.
And it's going to be Incineroar and Tapu Fini from Eric. So no Togedemaru at the moment, but that's okay. We've got Gengar on the field. And that's a Pokemon Wolfe is very, very comfortable with. He's really well versed with Gengar as well. So if there's an adaptation that he wants to make sure that he can get the strategy up that he wants, Gengar could easily be the play.
Yeah, I'm really curious. Like, this looks like Wolfe is changing plan. I don't think the last plan was bad. It was really good. Like,
Eric
gets
adapted.
The first setup,
So Wolfe needs to kind of find a way to make this game 3 work for him. Whether he goes for a completely different strategy, we'll have to find out. Gengar's a Pokemon that we've seen showcased really hyper-offensively with Shadow Ball and Sludge Bomb. Sludge Bomb's something Tapu Fini doesn't want to be taking, but then we have seen it in a more supportive role. We saw it with Jamie Boyd trying to use Disable and then Encore with his Raichu. Wolfe does have a Togedemaru, maybe he has Encore on there as well, and that's an option he can go for. But at the moment, I feel like his biggest threat is, of course, that Incineroar. Any Dark-type moves coming out are going to really, really hurt Gengar, but straight away, Eric going to bring the Tapu Fini into the back. Doesn't want it to take any Sludge Bomb damage from that Gengar. We saw how well it worked out for him in the previous games. He wants to preserve that Tapu Fini and brings Groudon onto the field.
This was a clever choice. Like, this first turn was already crucial because we know that Gengar is gonna Mega Evolve, and who wants to U-turn out? Which Pokemon do I want to get locked in? We've already seen Eric's Incineroar is probably slower than Wolfe's, so Eric gets the last U-turn, and he doesn't want to U-turn into a Protect though, otherwise he's at least stuck for one more round. And Wolfe goes for the fake out into Incineroar.
Gengar goes for a taunt. Yeah, that's a really clever play by Gengar. Nice reveal as well. If that had still been the Tapu Fini, that would have really locked it down from going for any of those supportive moves. And I like as well that the Gengar didn't go for a Protect. so that it's able to go for a protect on this particular turn. It means that Groudon is going to stay trapped in, and Gengar's not going to have to worry about taking any ground-type move damage or any dark-type move damage from the Incineroar. And even if Wolfe's own Incineroar does go down, again, would sacrifice itself bravely, but then that gives him the option to bring in the Kyogre, getting the rain up when Eric cannot switch out his Groudon.
That was really clever, and we do see Groudon firing off the first Precipice Blaze, taking out Wolfe's Incineroar. So Wolfe is the one who's down to 3 Pokemon first. And that's why Incineroar cannot U-turn. Good protect from Gengar on this end.
Yeah, Wolfe really reacting happily to that. The turn played out how he wanted, and he's now able to keep his ball positioning in the way that he likes it. Kyogre, of course, going to join in now against 2 fire types. Cannot switch out. Kyogre is going to be able to hit them with some good water type moves. But of course, you do still have to worry about potentially if the Groudon is faster, he's going to be able to get off a Precipice Blaze potentially that can still do a lot of damage to that opposing Kyogre.
Of course, but then on the other hand, if he goes for that Kyogre can still just knock out the Groudon. And I bet that Wolfe brought Bronzong in the back, which would be a really fitting switch in on this side. Pretty safe. Kyogre is probably faster than Incineroar, taking it out. Loads of Incineroars tend to not use Protect, not to bring it. Might be a really safe way, and there you go. Gengar goes out.
And it's going to be Bronzong. You called it perfectly, Sebi. And the thing I love as well is when there's no gravity in action and it's raining, Groudon cannot touch this Bronzong. It's got its levitate ability there. It's just going to skirt above all of these Precipice Blades. Of course, Kyogre will take a hit, but we have seen that it is a nice bulky variant, able to take that and goes for a Water Spout, even though its health has been depleted. Both of these Pokemon on Eric's side of the field are not going to appreciate it. Incineroar able to hang on though, but crucially the Groudon has gone. There is going to be no sunshine. Water type attacks for days.
But that was a really clutch survival there. That Incineroar goes out with U-turn and still keeping that fake out pressure and firing off another Intimidate onto the Bronzong. It's really crucial what Eric brought as last Pokemon. It is the Xerneas, and Xerneas likes having Intimidate next to it and likes having fake out next to it.
Very true, actually. The Incineroar surviving could be the thing that Eric needs to be able to make sure that he stays strong in this game. Like you said, getting the Intimidate onto those gyro balls are really going to stop the damage that Xerneas is going to be taking, maybe allowing it to try and get itself in a position to get the Geomancy up so it can start dealing out a lot of damage. Of course, as well, having the Fake Out, you can stop that Trick Room.
And we've still got that Mega Gengar in the back, probably running a Sludge Bomb, which threatens all of Eric's Pokemon. So he basically has to just avoid that the Xerneas setup or get up Trick Room so that a Gengar might be faster in Trick Room after a Xerneas setup, and just chip that Xerneas enough into Sludge Bomb range. And in the meantime, he can just deal damage with the Kyogre.
He certainly can, but I have loved the adaptation from Wolfe here, bringing in that Gengar, sort of taking a leaf out of Eric's book. Eric kept trying to sort of trap him in, but now it's going to be sort of the other way around. Wolfe managing to pin down that Groudon has removed it from the field. But here, if you're Bronzong, you're in a position where obviously Incineroar can't really touch you too much with Fire-type moves, but if it does have any Dark-type moves on there as well, that's going to be hitting really hard. Instead, though, it is just going to go straight up for a Fake Out. No Protects coming up from Wolfe's side, straight into the Bronzong as Geomancy happens on the Xerneas. So there's no Trick Room environment at the moment. It's very happy to get +2 speed, as well as +2 special attack and special defense.
Not only is Xerneas way more threatening now, but it might bring the Bronzong into a range where a Dazzling Gleam or a Moonblast plus a Dark-type move from Eric's Incineroar is enough to prevent Trick Room. And Kyogre goes for Origin Pulse, connects both.
Onto both them well. You don't have to worry about any Dark-type moves from Incineroar anymore. It was able to survive previously, but not able to escape the Origin Pulse and will be KO'd, leaving Eric with Tapu Fini and the Xerneas. And the thing with Tapu Fini, it does have that Nature's Madness. So obviously now the Xerneas is all boosted up, it's going to be moving first, so you can't get the nice synergy of Nature's Madness plus trying to pick up a KO. But Tapu Fini can still help out in other ways. It hasn't been taunted. The Groudon has switched in previously to the taunt from Gengar, so it will be able to support that Xerneas and maybe sort of limit Wolfe's opportunities going forward. As well, Kyogre, it's only down on 86 hit points, and Moonblast from that opposing Xerneas is going to be really, really heavy hitting.
It's going to be heavy hitting, but we're going to see the Dazzling Gleam, which might just quite be not enough to take out that Kyogre, and Tapu Fini going for a Heal Pulse. in the same turn into Xerneas to make sure it stays healthy. But that was really clutch. Xerneas avoids the attack.
Xerneas does avoid the Origin Pulse, but I love this Kyogre. It survived on 3 hit points last game. It survives on 2 this game. And it does manage to connect it onto the Tapu Fini, which is a good little amount of damage. And Bronzong activating its Psychium Z. We could very likely here be seeing the Z Trick Room again, just to make sure that he gets that up, which is, I think, a really great play from Wolfe. You know that Tapu Fini's fast, and of course, the Xerneas being boosted is very fast as well. So this is definitely the speed environment that you want. You just want to make sure you're hitting your Origin Pulses.
Look what happened, Lou. Look what happened. The terrain is gone. If you got, like, C Trick Room, you know your accuracy is rising after you use that. And loads of players tend to run Hypnosis.
Yep, and there's no Misty Terrain, so Hypnosis, if it connects, is going to be making sure these Pokemon sleep. That is a really, really great ticket that Wolfe has just activated from there. Gets the Trick Room up as the Misty Terrain goes away. You do want to make sure you're trying to get the gravity up.
Yeah.
Just to maybe try and get all your accuracy on both Origin Pulse and Hypnosis really key, but I think he looks in a really great position now in Trick Room. He does remove the Kyogre, just wants to keep it maybe safe for a little bit later on, and brings in that Gengar. Gengar, again, a Pokemon that doesn't really like being in Trick Room, but it's very happy to face down against the Xerneas that's taking a little bit of a nap, now primed to take some Sludge Bomb damage from this Gengar. Nature's Madness again coming out from Tapu Fini. Don't have to worry about it picking up any KOs, but we'll do a good little chunk to Bronzong that'll help out Xerneas as it takes its first sleep turn.
So this match is so intense. It's much more intense that we are even able to talk about, because those are like such deep plans Wolfe and Eric are both making. Obviously, Eric got a boosted Xerneas, which is already
very strong.
Sleep and very strong. Tapu Fini can support the Xerneas with heal pulls and heal pulls and heal pulls, and Chip in the meantime opposing Pokemon with Nature's Madness. Now Gengar entered the field. Just to threaten enough damage, maybe onto Tapu Fini, maybe onto Xerneas. If he shuts down Tapu Fini, as long as Xerneas is asleep, there is no Tapu Fini to help that Xerneas, and a healthy Gengar, if it manages to dodge those Nature's Madnesses, pretty sure that we're gonna find out after this Gyro Ball.
Exactly, Gyro Ball going into the Tapu Fini that goes for Nulla's Nature's Madness. Interestingly, he's targeting down the Tapu Fini as a Pokemon that can't really do too much other than Nature's Madness at the moment, but he's just going straight into this Pokemon, takes it down with a double target, and is Xerneas still going to be sleeping? No, it does wake up. Eric, very, very excited by that, goes for a Dazzling Gleam, does not pick up the KO on either Pokemon though. I was just going to say, interesting he didn't target down that Xerneas that was sleepy. He could try and get rid of it. Tapu Fini's not really too much of a threat. Managed to pick up the KO, but then Xerneas waking up going, haha, you underestimated me. But doesn't manage to get a KO, so Wolfe's still now in a great position in Trick Room.
Yeah.
Oh, Wolfe.
Let's have a look. Let's have a look what Wolfe is so happy about. Hypnosis and Protect.
Yeah, as Gengar
and a Perish Song.
Perish Song. Oh, I was wondering what his reactions were. I couldn't work out if he was happy or sad or what he was gauging from that. Now, Perish Song, this is a move that Wolfe is very, very well known for. He has switchability in his team so that his Pokemon can unhear the song and won't perish in 3 turns, where he has locked down this Xerneas.
This is a beautiful move, and now I understand the whole thing about.
Now I see the reaction.
And you see the reaction. Now, this was really clever. That Kyogre he's still got 3 Pokemon, and Bronzong, if it hits that Hypnosis, it's almost guaranteed to win this set.
Yeah, if you can just keep that Xerneas asleep so it can't stop picking up any KOs, some way along that line, it's either going to be KO'd by the combination of Bronzong or of Gengar, or Xerneas is going to be KO'd by the Perish Song that Gengar has set up. You can see the Perish counts there clocking down. It will affect all Pokemon that heard the song, but if they're able to switch out, or it's your last remaining Pokemon, you don't have any in the back, then it's going to close out a victory for Wolfe. And I absolutely love how he kept that secret the whole way until the end. It just shows that he thinks about 10 turns ahead of everybody else. He really, really knows his ball positioning and how he wants to get there. Xerneas this time still taking the sleep, but Wolfe has really, really closed this up. Yeah, he closed it up. With this sleep now, Gengar is pretty free to switch out again. Kyogre is coming in, and Gengar can just seal the deal or just stay in and
really well played.
Exactly.
This was amazing.
Oh, I love the ending to this because no matter what happens now, the next turn, Xerneas is going to be KO'd by the Perish Song.
Yeah.
And, you know, he can't take down 3 Pokemon all at once. So the match has been forfeited. Huge congratulations. Oh, I don't know if you guys can hear this at home, but the whole auditorium right now is clapping along. That was a masterful game. Amazing to go to a game 3 as well. And you can see the relief on these players' faces. It was an absolute fight of Pokemon. It was amazing.
I'm thrilled now, Lou. I'm really looking forward to Tough Cut.
That's really psyched me up. That was the last round of Swiss. And Wolfe just played it so well. You know, taking that game 1 as well and the strategy that he had and played it so well, did very strong. And then Eric coming back with the adaptation in game 2, making sure that the Trick Room didn't get set up in the way that Wolfe wanted it. He didn't have all the pieces to complete the puzzle. So in game 3, he comes up with a whole new way to play the team, and I absolutely loved it.
Perfect.